Hello, sixth graders. So today is Thursday, and I am making this pre-recorded video for you so that you have an idea of what you are doing today for me, since I will not be meeting with you live. Okay, so in Canvas, there is a checklist. You do need to fill out that Google form and check off everything that you are doing. It is part of your attendance, part of your completed work, so that we can make sure that everyone is doing what they're supposed to be doing. But you also need to do the assignments that are in Canvas, just like you did yesterday. For instance, the quiz was yesterday and your science was yesterday, and those were both assignments and quizzes embedded in Canvas for you to complete. So you're going to do the same thing today. The only thing is I do need the checklist, and you do not have like an assignment to turn in for math because we are doing it pre-recorded and it is in your book. But you do have an assignment for, here it is, this is for science. This is what you're going to be doing for science today. I went ahead and put the assignment in Canvas as well, so you will submit it through Canvas. And you're going to just type out your answer and it'll come straight to me through Canvas, and then I can grade it. Okay, so I'm hoping everything's going well. I didn't get too many people during my office hours to ask questions or anything, but of course, if you do have questions or you need to meet with me to go over something, we can Google chat, we can email, or we can do a live video so that you and I can work together and solve problems and learn about science. So that is all ready for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to do today in math. So you know about science. Science is all ready for you, but today in math, I have uploaded this graphic organizer for you in Canvas if you would like to use that today with me. Of course, I'm going to do it on my whiteboard, and you can use a piece of paper to do that. You don't have to use the graphic organizer that I print out. We are working from the instruction book today, and we are working on page 106 and 107. So if you don't have your book, please get your book so that we can go ahead and get started. Okay, let me go ahead and read the problem for us on page 106. It says, Matt is running for student council. His friends are going to help him give out 15 posters and 6 banners. Matt plans to pack all of the posters and banners in boxes. He wants to put the same number of posters and the same number of banners in each box. What is the greatest number of boxes Matt can pack? Okay, so first of all, let's talk about our problem, which goes in the middle. And our problem is the question that it's asking us. So it's asking us, what is the greatest number of boxes Matt can pack? So that's what I'm going to put right here. So we're looking for the greatest number of boxes. Okay. Then in our picture it section right here, this is where we're going to write down the information that we have so far. So how many posters, how many banners do we have? And that's what we're going to write here. So we have 15 posters and we have 6 banners. Okay, so now that we know that we have 15 posters and we have 6 banners, now we're going to break that down. And how we break it down is we look at the factors. So the factors tell us, those are the numbers that multiply together to get the product. So we have factors and then we have the product. So what are the factors that equal 15? Well, we do know that 1 is a factor of 15 because 1 times 15 is 15. So I'm going to put 1 and 15 because we just said 1 times 15 is 15. So now let's talk about the other factors that go with it. So 15 is not a prime number, so that means that it's going to have more than 2 factors. What other 2 factors multiply to 15? 3 times 5. Okay, so that means 3 is my next factor and 5 is my last factor. And there's your 4 factors for 15. Okay, now let's talk about 6. So we need to come up with the factors for 6. So we know 1 times 6 is factors 1, and 6. And 6 is not a prime number, so those are not the only two factors that multiply to 6. So what other two numbers multiply to 6? 2 and 3. Okay, so there's our factors for 6 as well. So when we're looking for the greatest number, we're looking for the largest number that they both have in common. So look at our sets of factors here. What's the number, the largest number, that they both have in common? 3. So we're going to circle 3 on here and 3 here. So we know that the greatest common factor for the numbers 15 and 6 is 3. But that still doesn't answer our question. What is the greatest number of boxes Matt can pack? So how does this relate now to boxes? So are we going to have 3 boxes in? Or is it going to be 3 posters and 3 banners? So what does that exactly mean? Well, what that means is that he can pack 3 for both, right? So if it's both the same, then that means that the 3 is going to pertain to the boxes. So that's 3 boxes. And then we need to know how many banners is going to go in each box. Well, we're trying to equal 15 posters. So we're going to now multiply 3 times what number is going to equal 15 and for posters, and then 3 times what number is going to equal 6. So what number times 3 equals 15? 5. So that means that the answer, I'm going to put that over here, is going to be 5 posters. And then what number times 3 equals 6? Okay, and that would be 2. So this means that this would be 2 banners. Okay, so that means that he's going to need a total of 3 boxes and 5 posters and 2 banners in each box. Okay, so now let's talk about our model it. That's what we're going to do next. And what we're going to do here is we're going to do something called a distributive property. And so the distributive property says that we can use all the information that we have and kind of change around the numbers, and they all equal the same thing. So what we're going to start with is we're going to start with what we know. We know that we have 15 posters and we have 6 banners, which means that is a total of 21 items. Okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to break this down. So just like we broke it down here with our greatest common factors, we're also going to break that down again. So we know that the greatest common factor between 15 and 6 is 3. And we know here that if we times that by 5, we're going to get 15. And then if we times 3 by 2, we're going to get 6. Okay. So now what we've done is we've distributed our 15 and we've distributed our 6. And then when we put that together, we can also write it like this. Because we have a 3 here and a 3 here, which is their greatest common factor, we could put that on the outside. And then on the inside would be 5 plus 2. And any way that we have written it, so that we've distributed the number, we are still going to get 21. Because through PEMDAS, we know that we have to do what's inside the parentheses first, and then multiply or divide, and then add or subtract. So let's just do this mentally, just to make sure we're on the right track. So 3 times 5 is 15, 3 times 2 is 6, and 15 plus 6 is 21. Now I'm going to distribute my 3 here, because whenever I have the 3 on the outside of the parentheses, it means that I'm going to multiply it by whatever I have on the inside. And 5 plus 2 is 7, and we're going to multiply that by 3, and we still get 21. So what we've done is we've distributed our 3 amongst both the 5 and the 2. And that's why it's called the distributive property. Okay, so now let's talk about vocabulary words. So vocabulary words that we use today, I'm going to say the number one that we just talked about, distributive property. So we'll add that here. Distributive property. Okay, and then we have greatest common factor, which we just talked about too. Greatest common factor. Okay, multiplication. Factors. You know it's part of greatest common factor, but factors is a fourth grade standard that was taught to you prior. Addition, yeah, that would work. Addition would work. And I'm thinking that's it at the moment. I can't think of anything else, but as you're doing this lesson, if you find another vocabulary, please put it there. Okay, and here in our reflection, our reasoning section, we are going to do number 1 from page 107. So number 1 says, explain how you could use the greatest common factor of 8 and 20 and the distributive property to write 8 plus 20 as a product. Okay, so let's first start with, because they're asking us to do two things here. Number 1, they're asking us to do the greatest common factor. And then number 2, they're asking us to find the product through distributive property. Okay, so let's start with 8 and 20. So I'm going to list my 8 here and my 20 here. And now I want to write down all the factors that equal 8. So we know that 1 and 8, for sure, 1 and 8. And 8 is not a prime number, so it's not going to only have 2 factors. So that means it's going to have more. So what other 2 numbers multiply to 8? 2 and 4. Yep. Okay. Now let's do 20. What are the 2 factors that multiply to 20? So we'll start with 1 and 20. Actually, I'm going to make that larger. I'm going to go to the end here because, again, 20 is not a prime number, so there are going to be more numbers that multiply to 20. So what other numbers multiply to 20? So if we go down our number line, just 2 times the number multiply to 20. Yep. 2 and 10. Okay, and what else? So 2, 3, no, 4. 4 times 5. Yep. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 we have. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Nope. Okay, so here are all of our factors for 20. Can you guys see that? I know that there's a glare. Let's see. There we go. Okay, there we go. So here's our factors for 20, and here's our factors for 8. Okay, so right now, so far, we've gotten our factors. So looking at these two lists, what is the greatest common factor? So which number is the greatest number that they have in common? So if we were to start here, 8, does 20 have 8? Nope, so it can't be 8. Now we go to the next number, 4. Does 20 have 4? Yes. So our greatest common factor is 4. So GCF is 4 for these two sets of numbers. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take this information and we're going to create the distributive property through this. So we know that 8 plus 20 equals 28. So if my greatest common factor is 4, then that means I'm going to be multiplying 4 times a number plus 4 times a, not plus, times a number. So what am I multiplying 4 by to get these numbers? 4 times what equals 8? 2. 4 times what equals 20? 5. So here's the first part of my distributive property. So now since I have a 4 in each of those, I can pull the 4 out, and it's going to go outside my parentheses. And now I have 2 plus 5 left. 2 plus 5. Now let's just check our work to make sure that these equal 28. So 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 5 is 20. 8 plus 20 is 28. Okay, if we do this one, 2 plus 5 is 7. And 7 times 4 is 28. So there we go. We have our greatest common factor, and we have our distributive property to solve this problem. Okay, so now that we finished page 106 and 107, that's the lesson that we would have done together. And what you're going to do now is you're going to work from your practice book. And so your practice book pages, remember that's the orange book, you are going to work on pages 111 and 112. You'll do those 2 pages as you're going to have to do it independently, but I did upload the answer keys for parents to check work and for you to check your work, of course, as well. And then, of course, if you have any questions, please let me know, because I'm here to help you guys, and during my office hours today, I can do that for you. And hopefully, I think it'll be pretty easy. Greatest common factors and multiples. As long as we know our multiplication facts, we're going to do well on this. Okay, so what you're going to do now, the last things that you have to do are your practice book pages, page 111, 112. You need to do ST Math, you need to do iReady Math, and you need to do the science page that I had showed you before on the human body. I do expect a paragraph or more to answer the question on which scenario describes the human body best and why you think so. Use races, restate the question, answer the question, cite evidence, explain, and sum it up. Remember, a full paragraph is anywhere from 5 to 8 sentences. Of course, if you have any questions, email me, Google chat me, and I can troubleshoot for you. Everything is in Canvas. Please make sure you turn in your work through Canvas. The only thing you will not be turning in today is your practice book pages and the pages that we've just done together. All right. Happy learning, you guys. I'll see you later.